News time is 4:05. KBNU weather tonight. Mostly cloudy, rain showers likely, and a chance of thunderstorms this evening, then partly cloudy after midnight. Some thunderstorms may produce strong gusty winds and small hail this evening. Overnight low in the upper 40s. Partly cloudy, slight chance of rain showers in the morning Thursday, and then partly sunny, chance of showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon. About 50% chance, high on Thursday in the mid-70s. Right now we have 69 at KBNU. KBNU weather brought to you by Napa Auto Parts. Napa just took in truckloads of oil. Napa's best-selling diesel oil at the lowest price of the year. At your 5 locally owned Preston to Providence Napa Auto Parts.
This is David from Roof Rescue. This past winter in Cache Valley was the worst in recent memory, reminding us of the sheer power of Mother Nature. Snow, ice dams, and record low temperatures left behind a trail of leaks, broken gutters, and damaged roofs. Let's get those issues inspected and addressed so that when next winter comes around, you can focus your attention on your family, the holidays, and winter activities instead of leaks, drips, and ice dams. Call today for your complimentary inspection at 435-999-4268 or visit us at roofrescueusa.com. Roof Rescue, providing watertight peace of mind.
KBNU News time is 4:06. A rock smashed into a Salt Lake City man's windshield while he was driving on the highway. Sam Fairborn was heading home from work on I-215 near Parley's Way around noon on May 22nd. The incident happened on the interstate underneath an overpass not far from the Grandeur Peak trailhead. Fairborn said he calmly got off the interstate and reached out to law enforcement. He said he thinks this may have happened because someone threw a rock from the bridge he was driving under. While the Utah Highway Patrol cannot confirm exactly what happened in this incident, Sergeant Brian Peterson said dispatch does receive a fair number of calls about rocks or debris hitting windshields. UHP is investigating the incident. And family members are remembering a 16-year-old girl who died Tuesday after a decorative post fell on her as a caring, bright young woman. The victim was identified by her family as Madeline Morley, a student at Viewmont High School in Bountiful. West Bountiful police said the accident happened about 1:30 p.m. near her home. A group of teenagers was hanging out in a backyard during a pool party to celebrate the last day of school when police say a decorative post described as a rock pillar tipped over and fell on a 16-year-old girl who was attending the celebration. Family members said Madeline was in a hammock when the rock wall or decorative pole fell on her. She was transported by ambulance to Lakeview Hospital in critical condition, but unfortunately later succumbed to her injuries. KBNU News Time is 4:08. For more details on these and other stories, visit CacheValleyDaily.com.
News and current events. News Talk KVNU, 610 AM and 102.1 FM.
This is Jess Bradfield, Cache County Clerk Auditor. Serving the public and overseeing elections has been one of the most memorable experiences of my life. It has been my goal as the Director of County Elections to ensure that all feel confident in the integrity of our election process. In less than 3 years, we have constructed a secure ballot processing center, purchased state-of-the-art processing equipment, and Cache County was awarded a spot as a National Center of Election Excellence and recognized for outstanding use of grant funding in elections modernization by the U.S. Election Assistance Commission. On behalf of the Clerk Auditor's Office, as we look to upcoming elections, know that your vote is protected, local elections are secure, and Cache County is committed to maintaining its status among the best election offices in the nation.
Some companies will quote you a lower price just to get you to commit to having them perform a service for you, but not John Hanson, the Duck Hunter. When you see coupons or prices advertised for services, we highly recommend you call and ask a lot of questions. Find out what other costs might be added, what type of equipment and experience they have, and what you can expect from their finished result. This tip will get you better service and a good price. For a free consultation on air duct cleaning and dryer vent line cleaning, call the Duct Hunter, 770-4813.
We are the Duck Hunter.
Hey, so what's a great way to spread awareness that driving high is illegal everywhere? A catchy song, of course.
You can run, but you can't drive high. You can run, but you can't drive high.
friendly reminder, don't drive high. If you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I see you finally got a new helmet.
I did. Bought it cheap online. Follow me. We'll turn off here.
I'm right behind you.
Watch the cars. They can be crazy.
Teddy! No! Are you okay? Somebody do something!
Was this young man hit by a car?
Yes, and his helmet is smashed.
It's a brand new helmet.
It's probably a fake. Fakes cause real harm. You're smart, buy smart. Brought to you by the National Crime Prevention Council and the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office.
For the people.
We are waiting with bated breath for news from the Cash Republican Party meeting an executive committee tonight.
With Jason Williams.
And I'm really excited about this next segment. We have two guests here in studio. We're going to talk about something that we've talked about many times here on the show, but from a bit of a different angle.
Weekday afternoons from 4 till 6 on News Talk KVNU, 610 AM and 102 FM.
Welcome to KVNU's For the People, Tuesday, May 24th. Appreciate everyone tuning in today. A regular show time today, but a short time with Bill and I. We're actually going to transition at 5 o'clock to an ABC News special. We talked about whether or not to do this today, but it is the one-year anniversary of the just unimaginable tragedy in Texas, the shooting at the Uvalde school in Texas, and it's become obviously a discussion point throughout the last year. The Robb Elementary School shooting has been a discussion at the federal level, at the state level, because, a couple of things. I'll put it this way. We are at danger of normalizing children getting mowed down by assault weapons at schools. This goes back to the Sandy Hook shooting, and that shouldn't happen. So it should be, the anniversary of this event should be a news event, right up there with, even September 11th, 2001. This is something that we can't, as a country, just accept as a new normal. So we decided we're going to air this ABC program today, and one of the reasons as well, it's the Robb Elementary School shooting has, more than others, been a discussion point on a policy level, because what happened there was unbelievable. The breakdown of law enforcement, no idea how to respond to this event, the community that was kind of left without answers and without explanation. Stories from the day of the shooting of parents that some were let into the school while the shooter was still there, others that were not. Just an absolutely unbelievable. I mean, it would seem like a farce if written into a movie, just that over the top, but it really happened.
And a lot of people lost their jobs over that.
Yes.
As part of that law enforcement group.
Yeah. It's so anyway, it's something that needs to still be discussed and needs to still be remembered. So at 5 o'clock, ABC has put together a special that goes through what happened that day, but also what's happened since. The policy discussions at the state level in Texas, at the federal level for the country, the way this tragedy rocked even Utah. This was a part of the legislative session discussion just earlier this year, and a reconvening of a school safety task force that had kind of been ignored when lawmakers didn't like their recommendations a few years ago after the Parkland, Florida school shooting. Just something we can't let become a new normal that we all read a news story about and move on with our lives. This needs to be a bigger deal. I think should go without saying. But so we'll get to that later on. Michael Bingham, the founder of Jump to the Moon. This is one of my favorite organizations here in Cache Valley because they do some creative things when it comes to art and opportunities to use art for therapy, for expression, for everything, for the folks with disabilities. And they've been running a long time here in Cache Valley, but they have a special event coming up in Wellsville soon that we wanted to spotlight on the show. So Michael will be joining us around 4:20 today after our first break. So also on the show today, Utah joining a lawsuit with 48 other states against a single company in Arizona. This is going to sound like an exaggeration, but it's not. A single company in Arizona that the lawsuit, as filed yesterday in court in Arizona, alleges one company behind billions, in a one-year period, billions of robocalls that you probably got. These are calls that spoofed government agency numbers, from county sheriffs to the Social Security Administration, all of them scams, all of them hoping to get personal information, credit card information, money out of seniors, out of people looking for services from the DMV, from their county sheriffs, from the FBI. The FBI was even spoofed on this, trying to scare people into paying fake fines by giving over their credit card information. One company, one little Avid Telecommunications was its name. One little company in Arizona is believed to be behind billions of phone calls between 2021 and 2022, and they are the target of this lawsuit, joined by 48 states and the District of Columbia, and Utah's consumer division of consumer protection joined the lawsuit, along with attorney generals from other states, 48 other states. So we'll talk about that, what it means, and what might come of this if the lawsuit is successful. So that's coming up later on as well. Starting things off here today, Tina Turner. Man, sad news today. Tina Turner has died at the age of 83. And this is a woman that had, I've seen it described in a lot of the news reporting as a, quote, rich legacy. And that's almost an understatement. What she had been through as a human being, but also as an artist, the times that she was at her height through, the ceilings and walls she broke down just by kind of being there and refusing to say no. Turner said back in 2021, one of her early career goals was to become the first black woman to fill stadiums around the world. And at the time, in her early career, she said, that seemed impossible. People even laughed at me. My own manager and her husband at the time, Ike Turner, laughed at her for that. Said, it'll never happen. Enjoy the success you've got and don't hope for more. Be realistic. She said, I never gave up, and I'm so glad that I didn't. This is just amazing. Some photos going around today, too, of Ike and Tina Turner performing on stage way back in 1964 on a tiny, tiny little community church stage in Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas. And then to see where her career went from then, really rising to a pop icon in the 70s, and then just taking it even further. Having, multiple number one Billboard chart hits through the 80s and even into the early 90s. And then mid-90s to her death today, kind of settling into this queen of pop role as a producer. She still toured up until just 2 years ago. She was still touring. And she did receive a star as well on the just really, really cool career. Everyone knows her music. Everyone knows her songs. Everyone knows her from the Mad Max film Beyond Thunderdome, right? Two go in, only one comes out. Yes, soldier. Famous lines like that. Just an iconic person, but a story that I've always found fascinating. There is a documentary that has been made about her, several, HBO released a documentary last year called Tina, which is still available on HBO On Demand and the Max service, as they're calling it now as of yesterday. And it's a documentary that just kind of goes through her life and career as even sort of a social justice warrior in the tumultuous times of the late 60s and early 70s, fighting for civil rights. And that was pretty cool to see. CNN has put something new together that I believe they'll be airing, I think, later on tonight. I didn't catch a time. And, of course, Tina was outspoken about domestic violence and, misogyny. She was the victim of abuse, received from her husband, a musical partner, Ike Turner. She finally left him in the late 70s, and that's also depicted in the film itself that you'll be able to see on HBO and later tonight. There was also a Bee Gees documentary that aired alongside Tina, and something I didn't know about her. She had a hand in their success as well.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, she was one of the first people behind the scenes to tell other famous producers and promoters at the time, you need to be paying attention to what these in her words, Gibbs boys are doing. They're doing something important. And I thought that was pretty cool as well. So, Simply the Best is the title of a story at the New York Times that details her career as well. I've linked to that on our first Facebook page. Mick Jagger spoke out today in a tweet. Jagger said, "I'm so saddened by the passing of my very close friend Tina Turner. She was a wonderful woman, truly an enormously talented performer and singer. She was inspiring to all of us at the time and still today. Warm, funny, and generous. She helped me so much when I was young and made sure I wasn't taken advantage by the music industry from the lessons she had learned the hard way, and I will never forget Turner giving us a leg up, something she never got credit for." So basically saying Tina Turner also helped the Rolling Stones become what they were. So just a really cool person I've always admired.
The things you don't know until somebody passes.
Yeah, it doesn't come out until... Yeah, so Tina Turner has died at age 83. If you want to read some of this, I've linked to several stories about her life and her career on our Facebook page. On the other side, our good friend Michael Bingham joining us. He's the founder of Jump to the Moon, an organization here in Cache Valley that helps people with disabilities use art to express themselves, to even improve the quality of their life. But coming up, they have a big event planned in Wellsville. He'll have the details for us right after this.
Dr. Josh Redd, chiropractic physician, explains how Red River Health and Wellness can help you.
If you have low thyroid and you're taking thyroid medication, the biggest question you should ask yourself is, what's causing my low thyroid specifically? If you don't know the answer to that question, it's important to call us. At Red River, we identify triggers that will cause the low thyroid to begin with. One of the most common causes of low thyroid is a disease called Hashimoto's disease. This is an autoimmune disease that is a lot more complicated than just a primary thyroid issue. This is why people will be on thyroid hormone but still feel little to no improvement, because nothing's being done to address the bigger, more complicated problem, which is Hashimoto's. If you have low thyroid or you have an autoimmune disease and you're on medication and still don't feel well, call Red River.
Schedule your appointment today at 855-55-RIVER. Red River Health and Wellness, with offices in Logan, South Jordan, Springville, and St. George.
Call Red River today.
Welcome back to KVN News for the People. Jumping right back in here with a very special guest joining us, and he has to be in and out as quickly as possible. He's got an event coming up right here at 4:30, but agreed to give us some of his time today. I say this just to say this is an organization that's very busy, and that is such a cool thing. You can find them online at jumptothemoon.org. They are called Jump to the Moon, This is an art studio and gallery right here in Logan. They also have mobile options where they go out into classrooms and more. They've done some really creative things over the years, and their story itself, the founding by our guest Michael Bingham, and how they rose to what they are today, is itself a story worth reading. Over the last several years, they've become an organization that is key for many differently abled individuals here in Cache Valley to get access to not only an art studio, but to learn, to share, using art for expression, even for therapy, improving quality of life, and more. They depend on your support. So as we talk, remember that and visit their website. If you'd like to give them a hand, either through your time or a donation, they would greatly appreciate it. JumpToTheMoon.org. But Michael's here to talk to us today about a specific event coming up in Wellsville soon. And Michael, thank you for taking some time for us today.
Hey, thanks so much for having me on your show. I really appreciate it. I'm going to throw in one correction there. Our website is JumpTheMoon.org.
I'm sorry.
So
I was looking right at it,
too.
too.
Jump to the Moon, they probably will, and I don't know where they'll end up. Ours is just Jump the Moon.
Thank you for correcting that. I'm looking right at the site, and I still said it wrong. Yes, Jump the Moon, Art Studio and Gallery. So
exactly.
JumpTheMoon.org. Thank you for that correction. My bad.
Yeah. Let me tell you about something really exciting that's happening in our valley. I recently moved to Wellsville and live there now. But maybe everybody in the listening audience is familiar with the Wellsville Tabernacle.
Sure.
There's already been quite a bit of money and effort put into making that building, which was built in 1906, make it stand for another 200 or 300 years. A lot of steel structures been added to the inside. The idea is that we're transforming that into a community arts center, a community performing arts and community visual arts center. And I'm very excited to see that happen. It's a beautiful building, and it should be preserved. And we're having what we're calling the Wellsville Mountain Music and Art Festival coming up on June 9th and 10th. And it's mostly to bring attention to this building and show what it can be. New blueprints have been drawn up that transform it. So it's not so much a church anymore. That building's actually owned by Wellsville City. And we can show you what it's going to be. Part of this festival will be a lot of bands, both Friday and Saturday, and a lot of music. One especially that I'm very excited about is Katie Matthews' band. She actually lives in Wellsville, has been getting some national attention, and she'll be there with her band.
Very nice. I didn't know she was from Wellsville. That is very cool.
She's actually my neighbor just down the street from where I moved, and I met her and started watching her videos and realized who she was and said, wait a minute, we're having a music festival, and you're not on the ticket.
Oh, wow.
And so we had kind of already scheduled things, but we're bringing her in 3 p.m. on Saturday, and she'll be doing, with her band, an hour-and-a-half set, and she's fabulous. She's just one of the many bands to kind of check out.
That is very cool. Tell us again.
Be there, so.
This takes place Friday and Saturday at the Wellsville Tabernacle Square there, right?
Right at the Tabernacle. Let me tell you about Friday. This is, as far as I know, kind of a unique opportunity. We're not really trying to sell anything, but there will be some of Wellsville's most famous artists. So artists like Mike Malm and Chad Poppleton and Trent Goodmanson. And, boy, there's a long list of artists that are going to show up on Friday evening from 4 until 8. And we're just going to be painting, sculpting, creating, making things. And the public's invited to come walk around, meet your favorite artists, watch them work. We'll have a mountain man model that will be there as one of the parts that some of the artists will be painting and drawing this mountain man. There'll be other opportunities, but very rarely do you get to meet some very famous artists, and just stand next to them and watch them paint and create. So that's Friday between 4 and 8 on June 9th. And there will also be live music that night on the other side of the tabernacle. The stage will be going. There's several different bands, including Wasatch Back, which you may have heard of them. They're really awesome.
Sure.
And 3 others. On Saturday, there'll be booths with artists selling their work, and kind of like a little mini Summerfest. So make sure and get it on your calendar, and please share it with all of your neighbors and friends. The whole effort is to save that building and transform it into an amazing art center, and that is going to be so much easier to do if we have the people in Cache Valley behind that and seeing what we're doing and helping to support it.
Get a kind of a glimpse of the vision once this is all finalized and up and running. Just a really rare opportunity. And as Michael has just described, an opportunity to see some great bands. There will be arts, crafts, food. A country dance will take place as more. And again, this is June 9th and 10th at the Wellsville Tabernacle Square. Just a really, really cool event. The Wellsville Mountain Music Art Festival has drawn a larger crowd each and every year. But this year, again, Jump the Moon involved in helping to promote this and make it happen. And that alone is a reason to get out there because, Michael, what you do there with Jump the Moon is amazing. I had a chance to see it in person during a recent gallery walk. As we came through the new Jump the Moon location there in downtown, I got to see some of the artists actually back there in the studio. And for listeners, I want to throw this out as well. You can even purchase some of the art that is created in this studio, and I'm looking at some of it now. And man, Michael, these are some talented folks, and the studio you put this together in a way that is accessible to people who otherwise may not be able to create this art. And that's not an easy task, right?
Well, it's actually easier than you think. It just really takes somebody trying. And often maybe our failure in life is that we just don't put any effort into some things that really should have some effort put in. I'm looking right now at Kea Eccles, who's one of our artists. She's a wheelchair artist. If you go to our website, jumpthemoon.org, you'll see this young lady painting with a wheelchair, big canvas on the floor. She's actually becoming an amazing artist. Is going to have her own show at the Hiram Museum coming up pretty soon. It's so fun to see our artists that we kind of mentor and help get them going, to see them get launched out into the world and have a chance to share their art and show what they can do.
That is... And Michael, I have to throw this out. I know we've got to let you get back to an event you had previously planned there at the studio, but I have to throw this out. Many people don't know this about you, but you began your official career in the arts designing Hallmark cards. You never talk about that. That's a pretty big deal.
Well, I did. 12 years in Kansas City at Hallmark headquarters. I designed 1,000 products for Hallmark. Gift wrap, greeting cards, party stuff.
That's amazing.
And that was a good time. That was a really fun 12 years. We had 400 artists in our studio.
Wow.
In the process, I learned a lot of styles, a lot of techniques, and that really helps me now because no matter who comes into our studio, I have some experience in whatever it is they want to try, and I just pass that on to other people. Thanks for mentioning that. I forget myself that part of my life. Things move on pretty rapidly.
Oh, sure. And to put it mildly, you've stayed very busy since then in many other things. Boy. And Michael, I'm glad, though, that your talents ended up here in Cache Valley years ago. And since 2017, Jump the Moon has been providing a studio and services, mobile galleries, and more. Back in the pandemic, you may remember Jump the Moon hosted, as far as I know, the first ever drive-through art gallery, which was so cool to see. They do.
You have a great memory.
Oh, that stood out to me. That was one of the most creative things I think that I saw done during the pandemic, and I loved it. It's a really unique organization. And again, as a 501c3 nonprofit, they do depend on community support to keep this all happening. So you can donate via their website, jumpthemoon.org. You can also volunteer your time when they need volunteers. They post those opportunities on the website and their Facebook page, which you can find at Jump the Moon Foundation. And again, get out to this June 9th and 10th Wellsville Mountain Music Festival, an art festival as well. You can see the artists' work. You can support both the Wellsville Tabernacle Foundation and the work they're doing to turn this into a community arts center, but also support organizations like Jump the Moon and the work they do for the differently abled residents of the valley to make sure they have the opportunity to create. Again, you've got to go see this, some really amazing art. Michael, I know you've got to get on your way. I appreciate you taking some time for KVNU today.
Oh, you bet.
And we'll see you out there. Catch some of these bands.
I just invite people to come to our studio at 48 North, 100 West. The sign still says auto value, but don't let that fool you. Pretty soon there'll be a giant 12-foot astronaut on that sign pole. But come in and just see what we're doing, and it's contagious. You're going to want to sit down and make some art, especially if you think you're not an artist. Come, give me 15 minutes. I will prove you wrong.
Absolutely.
I promise. So come on in.
Please do.
Thanks for the time to let me come on and talk to your listeners.
Oh, our pleasure, Michael. And we'll do it again soon. In fact, for listeners, Michael and I have chatted before about having him in for a full hour to talk about the work Jump the Moon does, how you can support it in greater detail. So stay tuned for that in the future. But June 9th and 10th, get out to the Wellsville Mountain Music Festival. Support the work being done by the Wellsville Tabernacle Foundation, a restoration project that has run for several years now to turn this into a community arts center. They are near completion, and Jump the Moon and other organizations are helping them celebrate that, give everybody a taste of the full vision out there with the Mountain Music and Art Festival, June 9th and 10th at the Wellsville Tabernacle Square. Michael Bingham, founder of Jump the Moon, our guest again. And for listeners, stay tuned. More coming up after the news with KVNU's Bill Walter.
Thank you, Jason. KVNU News Time is 4:36. News brought to you by U&I Furniture. A group of Southern Utah drag performers and the ACLU are suing the city of St. George over its decision to deny permits for a show in a public park, arguing it was discriminatory and violated their free speech and due process. Southern Utah Drag Stars and its CEO accused St. George of invoking an ordinance that had never been enforced in a manner that was selective and discriminatory towards the LGBTQ plus community. There was no comment from the city on this. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention and other agencies are investigating reports of 18 salmonella infections linked to Papa Murphy's cookie dough. The CDC said Tuesday that interviews with sick people show that raw cookie dough sold at Papa Murphy's take-and-bake pizza stores may be contaminated. The CDC says people have been sickened in Utah, Idaho, Washington, Oregon, California, and Missouri. 2 people have been hospitalized. No deaths have been reported. The number of sick people is likely higher than the number reported and could extend to other states. People who have Papa Murphy's raw chocolate chip cookie dough and s'more bars dough are advised to throw it away. And Yellowstone National Park officials say they had to kill a newborn bison because its herd wouldn't take the animal back after a man picked it up. Park officials say in a statement the calf became separated from its mother when the herd crossed the Lamar River in northeastern Yellowstone on Saturday. The unidentified man pushed the struggling calf up from the river and onto a roadway. Park rangers tried repeatedly to reunite the calf with the herd, but were unsuccessful. Visitors saw the calf walking up to and following cars and people, creating a hazard, so park staff killed the animal. KBNU News Time is 4:38.
Are you a hot sleeper? Warm summer nights can make it hard to sleep. UNI Furniture recommends sleeping cooler with a gel memory foam mattress. UNI features a copper-infused gel memory foam that helps with coolness and circulation. It moves better with you, giving you the best night's sleep. UNI is also the home of Chair Heaven. There's a reason they sell so many chairs, including recliners. Father's Day is coming up. Plan to take care of Dad with a new recliner. For over 90 years, there's always been a better buy at UNI Furniture, downtown Logan.
A prayer vigil underway now in Uvalde, Texas, 1 year after the deadly shooting at Robb Elementary. President Biden marking the event by calling on Congress to pass stronger gun laws.
Number one killer of children in America, guns.
19 children and 2 staff members were killed when a gunman opened fire. Debt ceiling talks resume tomorrow as the clock ticks down to a possible government default. Texas Democrat Greg Cesar says that should scare everyone.
You could lose your savings. Your sibling could lose their job. Your kids could lose their house.
House Majority Leader Steve Scalise told lawmakers they can go home for Memorial Day, but they should be ready to return to vote on a moment's notice. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is on Twitter now announcing his run for president in a conversation with Elon Musk. The queen of rock and roll has died. Tina Turner first rose to fame with her then husband in the Ike and Tina Turner Revue, and then she had a comeback in midlife. She was 83 years old. Daria Albinger, ABC News.
And we will have more from ABC on the 1-year anniversary of the shooting in Uvalde, Texas, an ABC News special in the 5 o'clock hour here on KBNU. KBNU Weather is brought to you by Cache Valley Hearing and Audiology, Cache Valley's most trusted name in hearing aid technology. Call Dr. Paul Daines at 753-HEAR or visit cachehearing.com. Cloudy, rain showers likely, chance of thunderstorms this evening, partly cloudy after midnight. Some storms may produce strong gusty winds and small hail this evening. Overnight low in the upper 40s, and then a 50% chance of showers and thunderstorms mainly afternoon tomorrow, mid-70s for the high. It's been to 73 at 64 right now at KBNU. Let's check Wall Street now with Edward Jones.
This is Branch Office Administrator Whitney Heyer bringing you the daily financial market report on behalf of financial advisor Mike Arnold and Edward Jones. The big overhang for markets today was the U.S. debt ceiling and negotiations between Democrats and Republicans that have shown little progress. Company share repurchases have been strong this year, providing support for the equity markets and signaling confidence from corporate officers. Even though the banking sector has come under significant pressure in recent months, we do not see liquidity drying up meaningfully, and loans made by small banks have increased in 5 of the last 6 weeks. Today, U.S. equities closed lower. The Dow closed down 255 points at 32,800. The Nasdaq closed down 76 points at 12,484. The S&P 500 closed down 30 points at 4,115. And in the bond market, 10-year Treasury yields are trading at 3.74%. The price of crude oil was up 96 cents at $73.87. And the spot price of gold was down $12.50 to $1,962. In stocks of local interest, Autoly was down $2.86 at 81.01. Chevron was up 43 cents at 157.28. Dominion Energy was down 98 cents at 51.31. Home Depot was down $3.84 at 291.10. Kroger was up 46 cents at 49.56. Lowe's was down $3.02 at 203.63. McDonald's was down 45 cents at 285.92. Microsoft was down $1.41 at 313.85. Nucor was down $3.55 at 133.37. Philip Morris was down 59 cents at 92.35. And Walmart finished down 68 cents at 147.63. This has been today's financial market report brought to you on behalf of Edward Jones, member SIPC, and financial advisor Mike Arnold, serving individual investors with personalized attention and financial advice at 135 North Main, Suite 102 in downtown Logan. If you would like additional information, please contact our branch office at 753-2915.
Hi, this is Drew Allen with Allen Mortuaries. Over the years, thousands of families have planned ahead with Allen Mortuaries. Planning ahead helps you make informed and thoughtful decisions. It also spares your family the stress of making these decisions under the pressure of time and strong emotions. Allen Mortuaries' secure pre-need trust plan can save you nearly 40% versus other plans. Keep it simple, safe, and secure. Go with the proven choice, Allen Mortuaries. Voted best funeral home in Cache Valley in northern Utah. Allen Mortuaries. Then, now, always.
Spring has finally sprung, and the baby animals at the American West Heritage Center are ready for visitors. May 26th, 27th, and 29th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Cuddle the cute and lovable farm animals. Visit Utah's petting zoo gone wild with their exotic furry friends. And this year only, experience the Cache Valley Mountain Man Rendezvous as part of the lineup. Wagon rides, historic demonstrations, food vendors, train rides, and so much more. Baby Animal Days Festival 2023 at the American West Heritage Center, Memorial Weekend.
Thursday edition Clay Travis Buck Sexton Show. Ron DeSantis is officially in the race. We will have him on to start the program and begin the official battle against Donald Trump. Plus, Buck.
We'll be looking at some of the other candidates who have already thrown their hats in the ring. We've got Nikki Haley, Senator Tim Scott, Vivek Ramaswamy. Could there be others? And what does it mean for this primary season? Coming up on Clay and Buck.
10 to 1 on News Talk KVNU, 102 FM and 610 AM.
Welcome back to KVNU's For the People. This was a lawsuit in the news today from Arizona, and it caught my eye because I couldn't believe some of the statistics alleged in the lawsuit. And then, as I scrolled further, I realized Utah had joined this lawsuit. So I dug a little bit more, and here's what I found. Utah has joined with a total of 48 states and the District of Columbia have signed on to a lawsuit against a single company in Arizona. Lawsuit filed late yesterday afternoon in an Arizona court, alleging that the Arizona company Avid Telecom is responsible for billions in 1 year's time, 2021 to 2022, billions in scam robocalls. Not billions of dollars. That could be a higher number. Billions of calls. And these are the calls that 7.5 billion total is what the lawsuit alleges. Well, more than it. The lawsuit says in more than 7.5 billion calls to telephone numbers around the country on the National Do Not Call Registry, Avid Telecom used spoofed or invalid caller ID numbers, including more than 8.4 million calls that appeared to be coming from government and law enforcement agencies, as well as well-known private companies. The lawsuit seeks a jury trial and a permanent injunction to prevent additional illegal robocalls. Basically, they want the court to tell this company they cannot do business while this plays out. They want a jury trial, and they want financial penalties, including full restitution to other compensation on behalf of residents nationwide. That is a huge, huge ask from a court. And what that tells you is that these 48 states who joined together, including Utah, in this lawsuit, they know they've got the goods. The lawsuit cites federal telemarketer and consumer fraud and abuse protection law and telemarketing sales rules and the Telephone Consumer Protection Act, and even references certain state laws regarding unfair and deceptive business practices, including some here in Utah. These were the calls that, for example, they would pretend to be the Social Security Administration or a county sheriff or a court or a well-known business, and they would say, we're selling warranties, or there's a fine that hasn't been paid in a court. You're going to go to jail if you don't pay it. or there is money due to you from the federal government through Social Security. But first, we need all of your financial information, like a bank account routing number, an account number, and your PIN. That's basically what this company was doing. Avid Telecom, again, accused of providing services to robocallers to make it easier to send illegal traffic. They were, short version, they were using a voice over IP system to spoof caller IDs so that it would look legit when someone got the robocall. And then they were greasing the wheels for these shady companies that were running these scams. So Avid Telecom, on the surface, looked like a legit organization doing business in Arizona, just providing services to telemarketers and others. That itself is not illegal as long as it's done, on the up and up. But apparently it wasn't. Of the 2.45 billion calls that Avid sent or attempted to send going back to 2018 to January of this year, 24 billion calls total, about 93% lasted less than 15 seconds. The lawsuit says this is a giant red flag, an indicator of, quote, widespread robocalling, robocalls allegedly including Social Security Administration scams, Medicare scams, auto warranty scams, Amazon scams, DirecTV scams, credit card interest rate reduction scams, and even straight-up employment scams. Calling people and saying, you got a job. Absolutely blows me away. Avid Telecom received, the way they found out about this, they received about 329 traceback notifications from the industry traceback group, which is led by U.S. Telecom, a trade group. And the lawsuit says what that means is the defendants knew what they were doing. They were, quote, on notice that Avid Telecom was transmitting illegal robocalls and that they full well knew what their clients were doing and were actually making it easy for them to do it. One of the questions that's been asked since this lawsuit became public yesterday afternoon is why they're not going after the robocall companies themselves. The guess that I would make here is that the robocall companies would not have been able to do what they did without Avid Telecom. That's one reason. And two, it might actually be pretty hard to track down the owners of the robocall companies, with a lot of them likely being overseas where it's easier to do business this way, quote-unquote business. One other statistic that stood out for me from this lawsuit, I've linked to it on our Facebook page. I normally would never recommend you download a legal brief for a lawsuit because they're very dry and a lot of legalese and not exciting reading. Download this one. It's mind-blowing. From the lawsuit, one of the examples given in the lawsuit is Verizon in December of 2020 sent the owner of this company a letter regarding a, quote, very large volume of short calls. Avocad Telecom, through voice over IP technology, was routing them to Verizon and then out to homes. Verizon inquired as to what Avid Telecom was doing, notified the owner, a man named Lansky, last name Lansky, and said, we're blocking your traffic until we get an explanation because of, quote, unacceptable levels of robocalls, or what appear to be robocalls, short 30-second, 15-second calls. Lansky responded to Verizon, this was in 2020, by saying, your prices are too high anyway, and that we terminate over 10 million minutes a day of voice traffic through Verizon, winning only a few dollars of it, so we don't care that you're dropping us. Lansky wrote to Verizon, as mentioned, you can send more and better traffic if the pricing was better. So what he's trying to say in his response to Verizon is, look, we were sending these short calls because you're too expensive. That seemed legit, so Verizon started working with him. Didn't turn him over, didn't turn him in, didn't turn his company in. They started working with him because that sounded like, okay, that's a legitimate excuse. They're trying to keep the calls to 30 seconds for telemarketing so they don't have to pay higher fees to us, Verizon. As Verizon got working with Lansky and his company, Avid Telecom, they got more suspicious. and eventually turned things over to the Federal Communications Commission for investigation quietly, and the investigation began in June of 2020. But again, in 1 year, 2020, January 2022 to January 2023, 7+ billion calls made spoofing government agencies, sheriffs, Amazon, DirecTV, and more. I know people here in Cache Valley who were hit by one of these scams. It was a scam. It went around for a little while. I know a couple of people who actually, thankfully, didn't fall for it entirely, but went over and inquired at the local Comcast building if this was legit. They got phone calls saying, you can get your Comcast bill down $100 if you do this, but we need your information to sign you up for that. Luckily, these two individuals I spoke with, older individuals, before actually doing it, said, okay, I'm going to hang up on you and go talk to my Comcast reps here locally, which is a very, very smart thing to do. In fact, a general good advice, if you get a call from anyone, hang up on them and either go visit in person or call in person the entity that person was claiming to represent, and you'll quickly discover be told definitively whether it's legit or a scam. That's the best way to prevent all of this. Just unbelievable. And since 2018, 24.5 billion scam phone calls through one company in Arizona. One. It's just mind-blowing. This person is in some hot water. Also included in the lasuit, the allegation that Avid Telecom in Arizona facilitated over 5 billion calls from June 20 to February 21st for a company called Sumco, which is currently facing its own $300 million fine from the FCC for running an elaborate auto warranty scam via robocall. So again, this appears to be a broad network of scammers running the entire operation through one little company, two-person company with some IT guys contracted in Arizona called Avid Telecom. That's what's alleged in the lawsuit. And again, Utah has joined this lawsuit along with 48 other states. Strangely, I don't have an answer for this. I don't know that it means anything, but all the other states, the Attorney General of the state joined. Here in Utah, our Attorney General didn't, which seems weird, but our Utah Consumer Protection Division did on behalf of the state. So we are a part of this lawsuit. Again, the lawsuit seeks a jury trial and compensation, reparations of sorts, which could be anything. What restitution means in a situation like this, I have no idea. But they're seeking restitution and compensation on behalf of all residents in 48 states after a jury trial, if a jury convicts the owners of Avid Telecom of greasing the wheels and running a network of robocall scam companies through Verizon services. Weird. Unbelievable somebody would be this brazen, but there it is. Check it out. I've linked to some of the coverage and the lawsuit itself. I would download it and recommend it. It's mind-blowing. We'll be back right after this.
This is Jay with Daryl's Appliance. It's time for a pre-Memorial Day event like no other. Now through June 7th, receive up to a $500 mail-in rebate during the Whirlpool Maytag and KitchenAid sale. Buy 2 appliances, get $75. 3 appliances nets you $150, and so on up to 6 appliances. Get $500. We've been in business 53 years. Plus, get Daryl's famous service you can trust. Only at Daryl's West on Airport Road, open until 6 p.m. on weekdays, 5 on Saturday.
Time is your most precious resource, so why waste another minute with blurred vision? At Monson Vision, we specialize in providing custom permanent vision restoration for maturing eyes. If you're looking to ditch your glasses and contacts once and for all, you can with custom lens replacement. Dr. Monson can permanently correct astigmatism and both nearsighted and farsighted vision. Call Monson Vision today and turn back the clock on aging eyes. Visit monsonvision.com.
With this incredibly cold and wet winter, it's put everybody behind on lawn care services. Logan Extermination is ready to serve you. They offer the following services: outside bug spray from April to October for $65 per spray. Spray for weeds in your lawn as soon as possible for only $45 per 5,000 square feet. Don't forget, Logan Extermination can aerate your lawn to get airflow to combat the extra snow and moisture. Call Logan Extermination today. Logan Extermination, 752-8450.
Your 401k is likely one of your most important assets, but it's only one part of a comprehensive retirement strategy. Edward Jones can help you understand how your retirement assets fit into your entire retirement picture, so you work toward your unique retirement goals. Contact one of the 7 offices of Edward Jones in Cache Valley or go to edwardjones.com. Edward Jones, making sense of investing. Member SIPC.
Some follow-up here quickly in our final minute. Again, ABC News special on the 1-year anniversary of the Robb Elementary School shooting in Uvalde, Texas. What we've learned since and how it's changed some of the public policy response. That's coming up as part of hour 2 of today's show. Yesterday, I told you about the story of a young boy at a daycare being shot in the head by a stray bullet. Bullet's still in his head. Doctors don't dare remove it. He's fine. The family says he's responsive and just in a lot of pain, but they don't dare remove it for fear of creating additional damage to his brain. All of this, it was revealed today because of a man shooting birds with an air rifle near